Howdy, it's Tanya from VY Canis Melodies. I love me a racing game. Car must simply go noom fast. A lot of games replicate some kind of racing sport in the real world like Formula 1 or rallying. What about the thing many of us used to love? Toy cars. So the Japanese toy company Takara thought they'd bring their ChoroQ line of toys to the video game world, making many games for the PC, PS1, N64 and so on. But we're going to look at the first of their PS2 games now, ChoroQ HG, or Penny Racers, or Gadget Racers, depending on what region you're in. A game with some wild amounts of customization, some funky style, and some weird but fun gameplay. Before you begin, you're treated with an incredibly hype intro movie with some suspiciously Gran Turismo 4 vibes, showing the beauty of car, before showing you 2 minutes of gameplay while the lady tells you to be yourself. Thank you for the message, game about toy cars. I shall embrace the cringe and become car. And of course, the lady is speaking in a way that sounds like English, but I'm not sure it is English, because most of the words don't make any sense. Take a listen. You start off by choosing your car. Name the body. Name the body. Name the body! After some slightly crummy Gran Turismo style license test, we can finally begin the game. Now, what kind of incredible racing action am I going to encounter today? A prairie and country lane. It's like a drag race. Oh, this is very slow and my steering is very sensitive. After a few more slow races, we can finally upgrade and start customizing our ride. Every body has its own cool racing livery and lots of different colours to choose from. You have the engine, which gets faster as you progress, and of course affecting your acceleration. You have the tyres, which affect your grip on tarmac, off-road, and tyre life for endurance races and the Grand Prix. Also, the off-road tyres give you big wheels for huge boys. You've got your gearbox and your ECU for top speed tuning, your brakes and steering column for handling, your chassis for weight and endurance, and so on. You can fit bumpers and wings on for grip. And then there's water floaters and skis and propellers and actual glider wings, and then on top of that you can upgrade your body and change its drive chain, which changes how it handles. The FF is understeery but stable. The FR is more sensitive, but if you take it too far you have a chance of losing grip. The MR is like that but on steroids, with very sensitive handling and one that's very easy to lose traction on. And the four-wheel drive is pretty stable but a bit sluggish to turn in. So there's a lot of customization, and it's needed because the tracks are wacky and different, aside from prairie and country road. You've got your fast desert track over dunes through ruins and an oasis. You've got your jungle track in forests and caves through a very windy temple, with priceless Rosetta Stones and the way you get to crash through, causing untold damage to priceless monuments. You've got your ice track in the ice with snowmans bombarding themselves at you and fun little exploding craters of powder snow. You've got your purpose-built racetrack and oval. Then you have a racetrack through a seaside resort, which you get to go underwater and on a cruise ship. You've got one that goes around an Asian city, which has 90-degree turns faster than you can react. You've got one that follows the roller coastery train tracks of Wild West train line, up and down, around, everywhere. You've got one that's in a theme park and on a roller coaster, making you go up in a helix through a mall and then down again. And then you've got a steampunk one through an old-style town with cobbled streets going on top of roofs and through a clockwork steam machine. And each track has a long and a short variant going through the same environments. There's no shortage of variety. They're all designed super differently also, with many different styles of corners to tackle. The physics are, while fun, pretty weird. quite sensitive, lots of grip you can go flat out on a lot of corners. You've got to be a little careful with the steering though, especially when there are bumps, because you have a suspension travel of about 0 and a bounciness of about 100. And when you're bouncing, you're not turning. Though I suppose that does make sense for a game about toy cars with a wheelbase of 0 and tiny toy wheels. And while you can do a lot of corners at full speed, that doesn't by any means mean it's not a challenge. There are sections in the jungle and Asian tracks that if you don't slow down, you won't be able to react at all, unless you're doing the desert and oasis or oval tracks, because those are baby easy. So how about we take a little look at the music, eh? We can see that the game has a pretty cool sense of style, though weirdly grungy for a game about toy cars, and the music is, with perhaps one exception, incredible. It's rather orchestral sounding for a game about toy cars. It really feels like this game is trying to be Gran Turismo in everything except, like, the main basic premise sometimes. Some of the songs have this jazz influence that a lot of the songs from the later ChoroQ and earlier ChoroQ series will have, with notes lying outside of scales, many key changes and long winding melodies at parts, and very unconventional beat patterns. Circuit Short is pretty much the perfect song for the first race you'll do, with a mix of wonder but without raising the stakes, letting you know that with light-hearted melodies you'll do just fine, but keeping an intensity going that'll spur you on. Some songs, like Coastal Resort, sound kind of reminiscent of pop songs you may have heard somewhere but can't quite place, but truly do shine as great pieces of music that fit the atmosphere. Oasis and Desert takes the joint cake for the best melody with this incredible synth riff, combined with brass licks joining in and a quiet organ making out the chord progression, totaling out with an emotional piece about the beauty of this one piece of life left in the wasteland of the desert. Or maybe that's just me. The other side of the cake, you have Steamway delivering another emotional melody on top of the foreboding atmosphere that had been created previously in the song. The Grand Prix final round music really does make you feel tense too, with heavy rhythm guitars chugging along and a powerful lead alongside, cheering you on. The Western Canyon songs give off an intense epicness that also has that effect, with some incredible heights of tension. And as an electronic music producer, hearing these songs accomplish so much, even though the beat is very much a background element, is incredible and inspiring. And then you have the song for the setting of the longest endurance race in the game, Dream Park. It drove me insane, and it doesn't stop, and then you think it's done, but oh no, it just starts again. Help me. When doing the career, of course, it's mostly racing, but there are a lot of different options to choose from. You've got your single races, of course, and a few Grand Prix, but then you've got the long endurance races with pit stops, tyre and chassis life to consider, which Grand Prix also has. You have off-road trials at a special stadium, parts regulation races, which include engine regs, parts regs and body regs, limiting you to a particular set of bodies or parts or engines. It's a pretty fun set of races. Then you've got little mini-games such as the the chicken run. Overall, the game is incredibly fun. I'd highly recommend it to anyone who enjoys a good arcade racer and a bit of retro gaming. With a great set of tracks, incredible music, a fun campaign, and a nice handling model, there really isn't much to put against it. This is Tanya, signing off.